project. Two Spaniards with the captain's armband. Sergio Busquets, and there he is, the 120 million euro man. Is it going to prove to be great business by Barcelona?
I think it may well do, Ross. I think he's obviously got a real eye for goal. 133 goals for Atletico Madrid. Scored over 20 goals in the last of each of the last 5 seasons for Atletico Madrid. Now we're getting an eye on Frank Lampard. Look, this is a guy that the likes of Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham have looked up to over the years, and now they're playing for their head coach, and alongside him obviously Jody Morris. Here we see Ernesto Valverde as well, looking very relaxed. Look, as you said, Ross, Barcelona a little bit behind Chelsea here. This is Chelsea.
Ready. This 20-year-old's third start of pre-season. Man, Lampard is going to be depending on the second season running. He had him at Derby last year as he took his first steps as a fledgling manager. A man who enjoyed 13 glorious years with Chelsea, their all-time record goal scorer, now on the bench against one of his great rivals as a player. It's already Barcelona getting into their pre-season stride and winning the game's first corner after 27 seconds. It's to Jordi Alba.
But you said it, Ross. The importance of the result isn't really there. It's all about getting the fitness. It's all about seeing how the team shape builds up. Specifically for Chelsea, have already used 2 or 3 different team shapes, this being their 4th friendly.
It's going to be taken by the young winger Alex Collado. Flicked on by Griezmann. It's a free chance as well. Oriol Busquets, no relation to Sergio Busquets. The header and a chance to put it on target, which he failed to do.
Yeah, look, we'll let him off as it's very early on in the game, but a great flick on from Griezmann. Busquets, unmarked, no more than 7 yards out, has to hit the target, has to force a save from the Spaniard Kepa in goal for Chelsea.
Barcelona already back in possession of the ball, and it was Collado trying to feed Griezmann through the centre. Right start from the left-footed winger. Number of these youngsters, there are 3 Barca B players in the starting 11 tonight. They have experience in coming up against a number of the Chelsea players. UEFA Youth League, which is the counterpart for the under-19s to the UEFA Champions League, played every season between the teams involved in Europe's top competition.
Yeah, both of these teams have been very successful in that league. Jody Morris, who we mentioned, sitting alongside Frank Lampard, was manager of that youth team, won 5 FA Youth Cups on the spin with Chelsea. I think that's why it's going to help the likes of Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham. Jody Morris knows them very well, and the youth is going to get a chance with this transfer ban that Chelsea are currently under. The youth is going to get a chance.
So much to talk about with that as well. Pulisic wearing the number 24 shirt, getting a touch of the ball here on the left-hand side in this 4-2-3-1 formation. Mount he's linking with. Both of them 20.
Yeah, look, in previous years, an awful lot of the young talent of this Chelsea team has gone out on loan. Mason Mount has really profited from that, did well with a season in Vitesse, and then last season with Derby County under Frank Lampard. This season, pretty much guaranteed of a stay at Stamford Bridge. He won't be going out on loan. Just recently signed a 5-year contract as well.
It's a lovely ball drifted in. Far post challenge. Cesar Azpilicueta getting forward to the end of that lovely cross from Mateo Kovacic.
It's a Terrific flighted cross from Kovacic to that back post, met very well by Azpilicueta. Granted, he'd want to hit the target, but he'll be happy to get up there in the opposing penalty area in these opening few minutes.
Chelsea played 3 friendlies so far, a couple in Dublin against the Bohemians and St Patrick's. Starting off with a 1-1 draw with very much a youth team. 4-0 win, more of a stronger side against St Patrick's. Mason Mount actually getting on the score sheet in that game before the trip to Japan. Humid conditions. It is a 7:30 local time kickoff. Temperatures in the mid-80s, but also the humidity in the mid-80%. Here's Pulisic. Efficiency will be key. Very much central to Frank Lampard's plans this season with this Chelsea team. As you mentioned, Matty, unable to sign new players, although they have wangled it a little to bring in Pulisic, as they managed to do, of course, in January, and make the loan deal permanent for Kovacic. Although it seems they've paid quite a lot of money to Real Madrid for him. PK's down on the ground for the second time in inside a minute.
Yeah, this time Tammy Abraham just clipping his heels. Previous to that, Pedro just giving his former teammate a little kick in the heels. Quite a little word in PK's ear as well.
That's Azpilicueta, now club captain.
Still not having that he's 29 years of age, Ross. He seems to have been around for decades. A quick check of the birth certificate.
His 8th season with Chelsea. He will be 30 in August.
But what a signing he's been for Chelsea. Just 8.8 million euros. He's been just a class operator over those 8 seasons. Certainly someone that the younger pros can look up to. Doesn't matter whether he's playing right back, whether he plays right side of centre half, of a 3 or in a 2. He's a true quality player, Azpilicueta.
A player who came in 2012. It was 2012, a very memorable year for Chelsea. Winning the Champions League for the first time. On the way, during one of their most successful ties against Barcelona. There have been a number of them, but clearly the most famous for them. Incredible comeback at Camp Nou, involving the goals from Ramirez and Fernando Torres. Lampard, the catalyst of that Chelsea team, which went on to taste glory in Munich against Bayern. Talking about what the upcoming hopes are. Of course, Chelsea now Europa League winners as well. They will be featuring in the Champions League again, which went on to taste glory in Munich against Bayern. Talking about what the upcoming hopes are. Of course, Chelsea now Europa League winners as well. They will be featuring in the Champions League again next year. They missed out in this last campaign. Social media team operators got a little bit carried away in the build-up to today's game. The banter flowing backwards and forwards between the two clubs. Chelsea missing participation last year. Chelsea firing back. Here, was getting the opening goal. Delivery was behind Abraham's run in the end. Took a bit of defensive work from Samuel Umtiti.
Yeah, more through luck than judgment here from Umtiti. Swings at it, just gets the top of his right foot on the ball. Sends it skyward.
Chelsea corner though. Mount to send it in. Beyond David Luiz.
Well, it shows you what the Chelsea management think of Mason Mount on most of the set pieces, corner kicks and free kicks. He had a really sparkling season for Derby County last season under Lampard and Morris. Granted only the championship in the English League, but only 19 years of age obviously last year, Mason Mount. 14 goals in 25 starts for Derby County.
He was fantastic. Got a hat-trick in the Championship against Bolton. He's been part of this Chelsea setup since the age of 6. Lampard, the player he most looked up to, now getting a chance, a 5-year contract in his back pocket to learn from his idol. Doesn't get much better than that.
No, it doesn't. And it's great that he's got that safety, that the 5 years obviously sees him through till he's 25 years of age. Virtually 2 decades he'll have spent at Chelsea and still only be 25. I saw an interview with him earlier in the week and just saying how good it is to be able to learn from Lampard. Lampard's been talking him through how to arrive late into the box, and look, there's nobody better to learn from than Frank Lampard. Seems to have a really good head on his shoulders as well. Mason Mount speaks very well, pretty articulate. Just seems always willing to learn more and more, realise that he's evolving as a footballer.
Griezmann's just been a little quiet in the last 5 minutes or so. Luiz under some pressure. Kepa with a clearance out. Under some pressure here from Collado. 2 Spaniards duking it out on the touchline. Experience winning out. David Luiz, who signed a new contract with Chelsea as well in May. Just giving Lampard even more stability over the decisions he's going to have to make. Rudiger's injury perhaps opening up a berth for the returning Kurt Zouma. He's been speaking with praise of, not starting tonight, but I'm sure we'll see him for a few minutes.
You'd have thought so. That's another thing for us to talk about, Ross, isn't it? Whether Zouma will remain here at Chelsea. A lot of talk of him going to Everton.
Offsets Ricky Puig. Very tidy player. Looking to make further strides this season. Shone in Barcelona's pre-season last year, having been introduced briefly this year in La Liga action, Copa del Rey as well. 3 B players out there for Barcelona have all played for the first team.
Yeah, they'll all be striving, won't they, Ross? 4 more minutes, specifically in La Liga with the first team.
Here is Puig, a very clever, incisive player, looking for Griezmann, that guile that Barcelona are looking for. Again, with the introduction of De Jong this season. They're looking to be a bit more unpredictable than they were last campaign. Puig, again, finding Griezmann. Dembele getting himself involved. Sergio Roberto, it's nice from Barca. Jordi Alba just trying the low delivery for Dembele's run.
We were talking about Puig, weren't we, before we came on air? Puig looks like a joyous footballer. He's got what every good midfielder wants, a head on a swivel. He knows everything that's going on around him. Maybe very diminutive in stature, but boy, he wants the football at every opportunity, always showing for it. Doesn't always look for the fancy pass either. Keeps possession, and when it's on, he will split that Chelsea defence.
Busquets finds Puig. He was too quick for Pulisic. Advantage played out to Collado. Puig again running the show.
It looks effortless at times for Puig, only 19 years of age.
Commentated on a game involving Barcelona and AC Milan last summer in San Jose, California. Puig was absolutely dominant, best player on the pitch by a mile. Offsets Pedro. Has faced Barcelona before for Chelsea. 2 appearances when they last met competitively in the Champions League a couple of years ago. Barcelona won that tie. Test for Christensen. It's the new star signing.
Yeah, Certainly a test of his pace. Kept up with Griezmann well there. Christensen, stride for stride, got his footing, got his challenging. But for me, yes, it is only a friendly. Chelsea have to do better keeping possession of the ball. They've gifted possession back to Barcelona a couple of times now. You don't see the ball for large spells if you keep giving it away. Barcelona will be very happy to keep possession of the ball. And in this heat, this humidity, Chelsea don't want to do too much chasing.
Griezmann's spoken about having to adapt his game slightly from the way he played at Atletico Madrid. He says Atleti are much faster than Barcelona. Maybe that's part of the game in which he can help Barca as well this season. We were having a conversation as well, Matty, about whether Griezmann's introduction may well help the likes of Coutinho, of course, struggled last year. Thoughts on that in just a moment. Here's Dembele, who needs a big season this year. Needs to stay with the club. Nicely done. Chance here for Dembele. After an eloquent flick, put him in the clear. Kepa smartly off his line.
Absolutely audacious flick from Puig into Dembele. Kepa does incredibly well, though. We talked about the diminutive figure of Puig, kind of playing in that number 10 position. The bottom of his number, the number 8 on the back of his shirt is almost tucked into his shorts. Shirt's that little bit too big for him, tiny in stature, but boy, what a player.
He's the slim fit. Soccer action on ESPN continues tonight, actually, with 3 International Champions Cup matches. First, it's Real Madrid against Arsenal at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Then at 9 p.m. Eastern, we've got Chivas facing Atletico Madrid on ESPN. And over on ESPN Plus, we'll have Bayern Munich taking on AC Milan. The action does not stop.
It certainly doesn't. It's just ramping up for the beginning of the European seasons as well. Chelsea have another trio of friendlies before the EPL starts. And it doesn't come much more difficult than playing away at Manchester United at the Theatre of Dreams at Old Trafford for Chelsea on August the 11th.
It's going to be quite the opener for Lampard.
He thrived there as a player, that's for certain.
Oh. Pedro copped his own player there. Tammy Abraham right in the stomach after he teed him up as well. It's a bit more favourable a pass. Abraham can't turn it on.
I think that's just the wrong option from Abraham, trying to pick the difficult pass. This is that layoff from Abraham. Good layoff right into the path of Pedro. Decent strike with the right foot. Not sure Tammy Abraham can bring those down, though.
Stoppage here. It's Griezmann who's taken a knock. Collision. The challenge from Jorginho on Griezmann.
Yeah, studs was certainly showing a little bit from Jorginho, though. This one's hurt Griezmann. It's certainly not what Valverde will want to be seeing from the star striker. They've just outlaid 135 million euros on. Don't need this in your first friendly.
The tour plans come to an end for Chelsea after this engagement in Japan, but for Barcelona they will continue on. On Saturday in Kobe, about 300 miles west, got a reunion with Andres Iniesta and David Villa, Sergi Samper as well, all part of the Vissel Kobe team. It's 1 year since Iniesta left Barcelona, so a nice reunion.